Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets, 2-6. They play again on Thursday, and there is a massive decision Woody Johnson needs to make as soon as possible. We'll get into that and much more. Matt O'Leary joins the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hit it and get started.
This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Thanks again to everyone who came out yesterday to T-Squared Social for our watch party. Everyone who tuned into our post-game show, which last I checked last night had over 25,000 views, and everyone who tuned in this morning to hear Joe B's reaction to yesterday's debacle. Joining us right now is a good friend of the show, someone who this fan base loves and appreciates. The great Matt O'Leary joins us now. Hello, Matt.
What's going on, Jake? Another day in paradise, huh?
It never ends, man. It never ends. And, you know, I kind of feel a little different now removed from the game than I normally do after a brutal loss. The numbness has hit me a lot quicker than it has in the past. I think it's just because, like, in the past, there was typically like one thing you could point to or a couple things you could point to. But a game like yesterday, it's so many things. It's the team, certain coaches, ownership, GM, like it's all bad right now. So it's just like, what are you going to do? Like, I can't control it. I'm almost numb to it right now.
Yeah, numb is the perfect word to use to describe this feeling. I was angry yesterday, but it was more disappointed than angry. I kind of got all the anger out. I'm just, as you described, kind of just numb, man.
And it's just like, when does this end? And here's really the question, because I asked this to Joe Beningo, who's been a fan of the Jets since 1965 earlier today. Like, this to me in my lifetime, and we're around the same age, is the worst it's been being a Jet fan. Like, would you agree with that? Like, this feels like, if not the worst moment it's ever been, it's certainly in the discussion right now.
Yeah, I did a video this morning saying that this is the worst year of Jets in my Jets fandom for sure. And I would argue in franchise history because of where the expectation was versus the reality. Sure, there was the Rich Kotite years and the 2020 Adam Gase year not that long ago, but no one was picking the Jets to win the division in 2020. Like, the expectations were not nearly as high as what they were this year. And now, you know, you go from, I feel like most fans were predicting anywhere between 10 and 12 wins, and who knows, maybe a division title or some playoff wins. And now you're sitting at 2-6, and you have a short week against a really good football team and staring 2-7 right down the barrel. And it's just like, how did we get here? How does this happen?
I don't know, man. And I'm seeing a quote now from this head coach, fake head coach, because you have a better chance of being the permanent head coach than Jeff Ulbrich does right now. He was asked how he could preach accountability in front of the team when Greg Zuerlein isn't being held accountable. And his quote was, "In my opinion, accountability is controlling the controllables. His lack of making kicks is not a byproduct of a lack of work, not putting the time in, not devoting himself every way to the process of trying to get it right." They have yet to cut Greg Zuerlein at this point. And that, to me, is the ultimate slap in the face to this fan base that continues to support this woebegone franchise. That's a joke. Ulbrich also said that they're going to bring in some kickers and do a competition and decide who the kicker will be for Thursday. The fact that it's even a competition and not just, you're gone, Greg, and we're going to have a competition to decide who's replacing you is yet another disgraceful decision by a franchise that continues to find new ways to infuriate its fan base.
Yeah, like what are they going to do? Work these guys out on Tuesday, have them kick at MetLife, and then Wednesday decide, all right, yeah, whoever is going to kick for us tomorrow, and we'll see from there. It doesn't make any sense. I think they've waited way too long. Like there were signs of this. He missed a couple kicks in the preseason. Then he had the game against Denver. Then it was Buffalo. Then he had an extra point blocked, and then a field goal blocked, and then this past week, it's ridiculous that they haven't moved off of this sooner. I get it if you want to say, oh, how could they have moved on from Zerloin for Cyber in the offseason? Fine. But what about one of the other 4 games after one of the other 4 games he had where he was abysmal? I don't get the quote. I think it's a mistake. They should sign, I don't know, one of the 3 guys they worked out the last time, have them kick.
Such a joke. Competition for kickers tomorrow at MetLife. So you called it. They're literally going over to MetLife and doing a full-on competition. And then the best guy will be the kicker Thursday night. When asked if Greg Zuerlein will be a part of the competition, Ulbrich said, quote, "We're exploring all the options right now."
That's great. Fantastic.
I hate this team, man. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, which is really bad for what we do, but I'm running out of things to say. Like, I don't even know how to respond to that or like draw up any sort of reaction. It's just this feeling of numb, and they continue to do things over and over again that just don't seem to make any sense.
It's so bad. So bad. Look, Jet fans, we're in this together. So if you're watching live right now, we appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, Matt's channel. We'll be here for you each and every day. Thanks to everyone who continues to support us, despite the fact this franchise has not given you very much to be very proud of. I want to get into, though, these next couple of days here, because I think after Thursday, the Jets don't play again until after the trade deadline on November 5th. I'm going to assume they're going to lose Thursday, right? I guess, you never want to assume, but let's say they lose Thursday. They pick up their 7th loss. They're 2-7. I think at that point, Woody Johnson needs to make a decision immediately on what he plans to do with Joe Douglas. If he plans on firing him, it needs to happen then, because you need, I believe at that point, to consider jettisoning a lot of your veteran players who are free agents at the end of the year and seeing if you can get any draft capital before the year ends. Right now, the Jet GM job, the Jet head coaching job, is not the most attractive. So if you can get some extra picks to maybe make it a little more attractive, that's worth it in a lost year. So if you could trade a DJ Reed or Tyler Conklin or Mike Williams or Tyron Smith to open up a spot for Olu, because apparently they'll never play Olu unless Tyron Smith croaks on the field. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can get anything for any of these guys who won't be here next year anyway, you got to consider it. And it's why I think if they lose Thursday, decide what you're doing with Douglas. I don't think he should be back, but if Woody is actually going to bring him back, then don't listen to the fans. Give the guy the extension. Everyone knows he's a GM. He's picking another coach at the end of the year, and let him operate the trade deadline with the best interest of the team. If he's not going to be here, then he should go, because you have too many guys that I think you might have like a little value here or there that you could try and get something for. That's what a smart organization would do. The Jets aren't going to do any of that. They're just going to ride it out, and no one will be traded other than maybe like a minor move like Mike Williams. I'm venting, but this is just how I see it going.
Yep.
And then we're going to be lamenting the fact Douglas is gone. Why didn't you get rid of any of these guys at the deadline when we get to the offseason? I can already see it happening.
Yeah, like there's really no incentive for Joe Douglas to make any of these moves if he's not going to be the guy. Like, if he has no contract right now, so he's fighting for his life, number one. And number two, with how the season is going, if this thing goes off the rails, which we're way off the rails, baby, he's not going to be here next year also. So Woody has to say, you're not the guy, we're moving on. And whoever the interim is, set this thing up for success in 2025 and beyond. Or, I'm not saying they should do this, but if the other option is we're going to keep Joe Douglas, then give him the contract so he goes, okay, now I'm going to pivot and try to improve this thing for the future, because clearly this year has been a gigantic swing and a miss. I don't think they should do that with Joe Douglas. I think they should clean the slate, bring in a new GM, hire a new coach. Hell, they should even hire someone who should be the president of football operations. I would do that too. Have a clear line of demarcation, what each person has to do or what their role is in the organization. But if they just roll in with like Woody firing from the hip all year and Joe Douglas, updating his resume on LinkedIn to get the next job opening somewhere else, they're probably not going to trade anyone outside of maybe Mike Williams for a 6th or 7th round pick, and just end up letting guys like Tyler Conklin, DJ Reed Tyron Smith and whoever else walk in free agency, and then you get a comp pick 2 years later when you could have potentially got some value at the deadline.
To me, there's not a whole lot you could really trade, but there's some players that might be valuable. Like DJ Reed's valuable. Tyler Conklin maybe could get you something. Even Tyrod Taylor. I wonder how many teams would want like a better backup to upgrade by the deadline. If you're the Jets, like, is Jordan Travis healthy? Like, will we see him by the end of the year? Like, at some point, I think they're going to put Aaron Rodgers on IR because if they're completely out of it, why is he taking hit after hit at age 41 at the end of the season?
Yeah, I really wonder if we eventually see Jordan Travis this year at all.
No one even knows his status. Like, is he healthy? Is he practicing? Like, no one has asked that question.
I was just going to say exactly that. Is I have no idea if he's ready to even take practice reps yet or what the timeline is. Like, we haven't even been given a timeline on when maybe we could expect to see him, cleared and out there. So that's another great question, but I don't know what else you do other than try to sell this thing, get as many draft assets as you possibly can here in the next week and a half. But again, as you rightfully pointed out, I don't think any of this happens. I think maybe you see one move, but I don't even know if Joe Douglas is working right now. Joe Douglas didn't fire Robert Saleh. Joe Douglas didn't bring in Hassan Reddick. Joe Douglas didn't trade for Devontae Adams. Apparently, this is all Woody's doing. So I don't even know what Joe Douglas is even doing right now.
Yeah, like Douglas is like a GM in name only. Like he maybe is like on the phone getting the deals done, but like he's basically doing whatever Woody wants to see get done. By the way, another name I would trade, and I would drive him to the airport myself if I could. I want Hassan Reddick gone. I got no use for the guy. He's a reminder on how failed this season is. He's a reminder on how incompetent this GM was to allow a great defensive line a year ago and the year prior to that get completely dismantled. And no, it's not just because Jermaine Johnson got hurt. There were other moves along the way that contributed to all this. Like, I can't do it, man. If I ever got to watch Michael Clemens again, if I got to continue to watch Devon Kinlaw, and I'll own the Kinlaw thing. I gave the Jets too much credit with that. I'm like, Salah's got a good history with D linemen. All right, fine. That's been a disaster. So I'm so disgusted, man. I really am.
Yeah, who could blame you? The frustrating thing, or the point that really gets me now, is we could be upset every single week at Michael Clemens or Greg Zuerlein, right? But at some point, it stops being it's the player's fault, and then it becomes the coaches and the GMs who are enabling this same thing to happen week after week after week. Why are the coaches still putting these guys out there? Right. Why has the GM not made any other moves to improve those two areas on the team? Like, I don't even blame Clemens and Zuerlein anymore because they're just being enabled by the coaching staff and the general manager.
Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Do you think Woody Johnson has the balls to make this decision on Joe Douglas before the trade deadline? If he's not sticking with Joe, do it now. And then have like Phil Savage basically be the interim GM for the rest of the way and see whatever he can get for some of the players that might be able to fetch you some picks via trade. Or do you think Woody's going to commit to Joe Douglas despite a 29 and, as we sit here right now on Monday, October 28th, Matt, 62 record?
Nice. That's awesome.
It never ends. It never ends. Hey, reminder, the Jake Asman Show is now available in podcast form. So if you want to commiserate in audio form, you certainly can. Search Jake Asman Show wherever you get your podcast, either Apple or Spotify. Some super chats are coming in. Then we'll get to some calls with Matt O'Leary as well. Dante starts us off. He says, I got super drunk and high, and I wrote a letter to Steve Cohen asking him to purchase the Jets and move them to Queens. This is what this team does to me. Well, as much as we all would love that, I will say the line I have said many times and will continue to say, because it feels like Woody has now moved into like public enemy number one as far as like the blame, attack chart for Jet fans. You can fire the GM, fire the coach, you can fire the players. You can't fire the owner, and you can't force the owner to sell, and that's the problem.
It is the problem. It's unfortunate, but as a Mets fan, I can say that things have gotten a lot better going from the Wilpons to Steve Cohen. So there is clear benefits from an owner change. We're seeing it in the NFL right now with Washington, even just getting competent people in there. It would be a dream come true, like Jake just said, though. There's been no indication that Woody Johnson or the Johnson family would like to sell the New York Jets. But Steve Cohen has FU money, so maybe he'll get excited one day and just want to buy the Jets and save us all.
Yep. I mean, really, the only way to get Woody to sell is someone's got to, come up with a credible accusation, a la the Clippers owner who got forced to sell. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to take something like that. Otherwise, like, why would he sell? Like, he doesn't need to sell.
No, he makes money hand over fist every year. It doesn't matter that the team's been out of the playoffs for a decade and a half, and away we go.
Dan writes in with a great super chat here. Can we call Joe DeVizio to clean out the squatters that work at One Jets Drive? Clearly, they have no purpose being there except causing us misery. You know what, Dan? I haven't asked Joe this personally, but Joe DeVizio is a diehard Jet fan, season ticket holder. And if there is a way to fumigate One Jets Drive, Joe DeVizio and his team might be able to help you. Great plug there, Dan. Love that. Douglas with a super chat. 32 seasons from Super Bowl to Leon Hess passing, 212 and 270 and 2 winning percentage. Okay, so it's 2. I'm trying to understand this. 212, 270 and 2. That's when you had ties. Winning percentage 44.01 and 25. This is a bog. I get what he's saying. He's basically looking at the career winning percentages of Leon Hess and Woody Johnson, and they're both abysmal, and that's why it's the same old Jets. Yes, I mean, but ultimately, bad owners can eventually get it right. Like James Dolan got it right with the Knicks hires. Like, you just got to hope Woody this time around, man, hires the right people, because otherwise it's the same pattern of we get excited, they stink, and we start all over every time.
Yeah, he's got to hire the right people this time and stay out of the way. It's both. Like, he has stepped in because apparently Joe Douglas is not the right guy and Robert Saleh was not the right guy. But the only thing we could hope for is for him to hire a football person to do the football operations and provide the money and then stay out of the way of what that football guy wants to do.
Morning Woody writes in, you can fire the owner. Don't buy season tickets and don't go to games. So yes and no. I think we make too much of people not renewing their season tickets and not going to games. It sends a message, but ultimately, if you look at the pie chart on how NFL teams make their money, it's overwhelmingly from the TV contracts. That's where the bazillions of dollars go from these networks to the NFL owners. And there's a rev share agreement, and the NFL is booming. They were, a $15 billion industry a year ago. And if you look at what Woody paid for the Jets and what the franchise value is now, he's doing just fine. So you can send a message by not going, but you're not actually forcing Woody to sell by people not being there. He's still making money hand over fist.
Yeah, and I don't blame any of the people who want to hold on to their season tickets. Like, I don't know. As another Jet fan, like, I don't think we should just be pointing the finger at other Jets fans and saying you're the problem when the organization has just been terrible this entire time. And you're right. Like, it's such a small percentage of what these owners are really cashing in on. I don't know if, Billy from Long Island not buying his 2 tickets again in 2025 is going to get, Woody Johnson to sell this team. It's going to take a lot more than that, I think.
The thing is, too, the season ticket holder gets so screwed because by the time you get to this part of the year, typically the value is so bad. You're basically trying to give away the tickets. You try and resell them. You're not getting what you paid for. Like, the whole value, I believe, of season tickets is that you get face value for playoff games. Well, this is a franchise that hasn't had a home playoff game since 2002. Like, if you're going to be a season ticket holder, what benefits are you getting? Yeah, the beginning of the year, the tickets might be, more expensive on the secondary market than what you paid per game. But you're spending money on 8 or 9 regular season home games a year, and the value over the course of the year only goes down with this team because they haven't made the playoffs since 2010.
Yeah, and then they raise the prices the next year too to just add on top of that.
Joke. M. King has made it rain. We will thank him for this because, man, is it a tough day to be a Jet fan. If you hear your name called, you are officially an Asmaniac, courtesy of the great M. King, Ray, Jeffrey R., Shim Shack Collectibles, Get Silly, and the aforementioned Morning Woody. But wait, there's more. Austrian Jet fan has gifted a singular 1-channel membership. Listener Zalix became a member. So Zalix canceled his Patreon today, but he became a channel member. You know what stinks? Some Jet fans cancel their Patreon subscription, Matt, after they lose, as if I have any control over the team losing.
No, don't unsubscribe. Don't leave the Discord. It's not fair. It's not our fault.
It's like, I'm not the one losing, man. I'm just as angry as all of you. Your $5 a month is not hurting Woody Johnson. It's hurting me.
It's hurting Jake Asman and Matt O'Leary here.
Yeah, it's hurting your favorite content creators enterprise here. M. King with a great super chat. Thank you, M. King. Thank you for keeping us engaged this year. Your guest at Asmaniacs keep me from jumping off a bridge. This season hurts worse than Todd to AJ Dewey. Vinny T loss, and Rex Ryan era losses. Please support Jake and hit the like. Thank you, M King. Very nice of you. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, Matt. Like, this team, I think, has done irreparable damage to the fan base. Like, it's going to be really hard to like ever get truly excited about an upcoming season. Like, we're really going to now need to see it because like we believed, like, and maybe we shouldn't have believed as much as we did. But even if you're the most negative Jet fan, you didn't think they'd be 2-6 with this talent.
No, certainly not. And like we all know, Richie Jets media very well. Do the AFC East roundtable with him during the week. Might be the most positive, not even just Jet fan, but just positive person I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know if I've seen someone down worse. Richie is going through it right now. He had a big rant video on his channel. I think he popped a blood vessel, and like if you broke Richie, like breaking me or Jake, I feel like it's a little bit easier. But like I feel even worse when I see someone like Richie, who's maybe the most positive guy, just got absolutely no spin, nothing to get us feeling any better.
It's just bad right now, man. Hennessy Heisman says, can't wait to see what jerseys we're wearing Thursday. Get ready for the all black, and everyone will make the same joke. Dress for the Jet funeral. But that's the thing. They're already done. So that joke is not even as funny as it would have been if they beat the Patriots and then lost to the Texans ending the season.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be, though, on Halloween. Maybe we'll get a Mike White game reunion.
Ooh.
Like, what was that, 4 years ago now, I guess?
2021, no, right? Yeah, Zach's rookie year.
Okay, yeah, Mike White reunion game on Halloween under the lights.
Man, I'm going to that game too, which is just terrible. I mean, I'm excited to hang out with my listeners. We did a group buy before the year started, but it's tough. I might wear a bag on my head.
That would be fantastic. I think you should have brown paper bags for everyone in your crew. You cut the eyes out. You go in, write a message on it. Maybe sell Woody or F you, whoever, and make a statement.
The joke I said to Beningo this morning on the stream was there'll be a lot of Jet fans dressed up as empty seats on Thursday.
Yes, that will be true.
Well, because it's not like, and I did radio in Houston for 6 years. Like the Texans, like they have fans, obviously, but it's not like a national brand. So like if they were playing the Steelers on Thursday, it would be 70% Steelers fans. There'll just be a lot of empty seats, some Texans fans, but it's not going to be like a takeover. You'll see empty seats.
Yeah, which is just great for another one of these primetime games. And they're not even done. They still have another one. I hope they flex out the Colts game.
Please.
I don't know if we can do this again.
For the love of God, put us in the Spiro Ditas 1 p.m. window where we belong.
Yes.
Henny says, we need to stop buying merch and season tickets. Yeah, I mean, it sends a message, but I don't think it's the message that everyone just thinks the answer is stop going and stop buying merch as if like Woody then all of a sudden becomes a good owner. Like, I don't think it works that way.
No, it doesn't. It's going to take a little bit of luck, I think, to get this thing going back in the right direction.
Peter says, Woody protecting JD, he stays guaranteed. If Joe Douglas stays after all this, I mean, just shoot me, man.
Yeah, I don't know. But with the comments that Woody said, like, he said this is the best roster he's ever had like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that was not long ago.
I know, but that kind of goes back to my premise. Like, even though I would disagree with it, like, I almost rather Woody make up a decision now, right, on what you're doing. Because if Douglas is here, okay, but then operate like a serious franchise at this deadline and get some extra picks before you try and chase a head coach. Because who's going to want to come here right now, given the state of affairs? Try and make your job as attractive as possible. Give yourself more, opportunities to replenish some of the picks that you've traded the last couple of years going for it in this window. It's not like they have no picks. They do have a first and a second, but, you traded away one of your 2/3 for Devontae. That hasn't worked right now. You haven't won with them. Like, if you can get something for Reddick, if you can get something for Devontae, even as crazy as that sounds, if you can get something for DJ Reed, Conklin, Mike Williams, etc., do it. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's certainly not going to help you this year. If anything, it's just going to hurt your draft stock. And I don't even know what to think anymore. I really don't. But it's got to be with an eye towards the future. I don't foresee Woody Johnson doing that. I think they ride this thing out to the end. I think very unceremoniously, Joe Douglas is not back on a quote unquote mutual decision. And we just see a search for the GM, the coach, maybe a president of football operations. But I got my money on just Mike Williams getting traded. Nobody else.
Yep. I think it's going to be a very minor type of thing. Zalek says, Jake, I'm sorry I canceled the Patreon. It was a knee-jerk reaction. My frustration was misguided. Thank you for the gift subscription. It's all good, man. We're all going through it. I just laugh. Like every time the Jets lose, man, I swear I have like 2 or 3 listeners cancel the Patreon. I'm like, it's not me why they're losing. I'm still doing the show either way. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. F that guy, Jake Asman. It's all his fault.
Yeah, man. Like, believe if it was up to me, we'd win. I don't have control. 25 says Rodgers needs to retire. Let Tyrod be the bridge. Look, here's the thing. I don't know what Aaron's going to want to do. And I think so much of it's undecided based on what happens here down the stretch. He's under contract. If he wants to come back, I'm okay with that. But I think the idea that you're doing everything for Aaron, no, you're doing what's in the best interest now of the long-term future of the Jets. And I believe, Matt, that likely means you're taking a quarterback in the first round. And if Aaron's not okay with it, all right, retire. Because they need to think about life after Aaron Rodgers, who at the most is probably only playing one more year anyway. You could still try and go for it next year with the team you have and better coaching, but you need to have a succession plan. And I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for a Jet quarterback to not be thrust into the New York media market and this crazy fan base with expectations, sit and learn. The only time the Jets have done that in our lifetime was with Pennington, and it worked.
Yeah, I think it would almost be crazy if they don't take a quarterback. And if they, like, I don't know, take an interior defensive lineman or an edge rusher because it's a need. And like, I don't know if I could do it. I totally, again, I could see a path where that happens if, Joe Douglas stays and he really wants to go for it and all the pressure's on him to win. But the wise decision is find the quarterback that you like, draft him, sit him behind Aaron Rodgers for a year if Rodgers comes back, because that, who knows, right? There's still, I know there's 9 games left. We still have no idea if Rodgers is going to come back or not, and just take it from there. But I'm going to stake my claim on October 28th, 2024. I am team draft a quarterback. It's a shame that we're making these declarations in October, but that's where we are.
Jets football, baby. Wave the flag. It's quarterback talk time. Do you think we'll have Carson Beck truthers, Quinn Ewers truthers, Shedeur Sanders truthers? How is this going to play out?
Yeah, probably. It's got to be something nuts. It always is.
I'm just laughing at this comment here. I'm going to skip ahead from Matthew, who wrote, Jake, no offense. And by the way, when you say no offense, it doesn't then give you the right to then say something that will piss me off, but I'll allow it. But wise up. This team stinks at drafting and developing quarterbacks. Okay, but that doesn't mean you don't ever keep trying until you get it right. Like, that's stupid,
Yeah, I don't know what's the alternative. What do you do then? Like, this team sucks at drafting and developing quarterbacks. Okay, well, they went out and got the veteran in Aaron Rodgers, and clearly that hasn't worked. So what's the next step? What do you do after this?
And I also don't think that's entirely true. Ken O'Brien was a very good quarterback. Chad Pennington, when healthy, was a very good quarterback. The idea that they can never do it, their history at it is terrible, but you hopefully hire the right people so you get it right for once. That's eventually what good franchises do to turn it around. The Lions had struggled for years. They finally got the right people running their team. Look at them. The Texans were a bigger joke than the Jets. They had a preacher running their team, and they hit on C.J. Stroud. The Commanders were a joke. They struggled drafting quarterbacks, and now they got Jaden Daniels and seemingly got it figured out. There's so many examples of this. And just because it's bad now doesn't mean it's always bad. You got to hope that you hire the right people and they could resurrect this team.
Then you have to try. Oh well, it's never worked before.
So what's your solution if they don't draft a quarterback? Let's go sign. Let's go sign Sam Darnold this offseason. I guess that's an idea, but is that the plan?
I hope not. I really hope not. They got to just keep swinging until you hit one. That's it, man. If you go down swinging again, all right, try again in 3 years. I don't know what else to say.
Brutal. Dante says, Matt is right. We need a VP of football ops, someone above the GM who will make football decisions and Woody signs the checks. Who could that be? I mean, here's my question with that. You have a GM and a VP of football ops. Okay. If you have Joe Douglas, he's going to have an assistant GM. What is the difference in the structure there just because you slap on VP of football ops as the title? Who is that figure?
Yeah, I don't know if that I just think having that extra layer even above. I'm trying to idiot proof this for Woody Johnson and give extra layers of people that he has to go through before he gets to people who make the decisions. Usually the VP of football operations is really the one who's running the show anyway, but for namesakes, I don't know if there's anyone popping out to me right now, but it's got to be someone who is well respected around the league, someone who's had proven success, not a first time guy. If you want to hire a first-time GM, I guess that's okay, but it'd have to be under the supervision of someone who's had proven success in this league before. I don't know.
I can't believe they're playing Thursday. I just got to my email from Jets PR, the injury report already for this week. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. It's just like, we're doing this again.
It's so quick.
For those curious, Tony Adams did not practice. Ashley Davis did not practice. Lecky Fotu did not practice. Lazard did not practice. Mosley did not practice. In fact, he's seeing a specialist about his neck. I love CJ Mosley. He's been a great Jet. I'm worried he might be done.
Yeah, I think he is. He can't stay healthy, and like it's not just one thing that's going. It's everything.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell he was a little diminished last year, but he was still smart enough to make plays. And this year, just been banged up. He hasn't been the same guy. Sherwood's been good. That's one bright spot on this defense. Yeah, I would keep him. Anyway, looking at this injury report here, Rodgers limited. It was a walkthrough today, so not a full. So it's Monday's practice, participations, and estimation. I mean, look, they're banged up, and we know this, but not an excuse. Like, every team's got injuries. I'm looking at the Texans injury report now, too. It's a long list. Stephon Diggs probably not playing Thursday. Nico Collins is already out for them. Like, the Jets are actually a 1-point favorite in some spots in this game, which is insane, but it just shows you, like that's what makes this year so maddening. They've been a favorite in all these games they've been losing here. They were a 7-point favorite yesterday.
Yeah, they were a 7-point favorite. They were 8-point favorites against Denver. That's twice already this year. Once at home, the other one on the road, obviously. But New England, they were a team that their coach called them soft like 5 days ago. This is very, this is a team that was going off the rails, just like the Jets. Clearly, they have more talent, but they still just can't get out of their own way. It's really remarkable what this season has come to.
Hey, a huge shout out to our newest Patreon member. No, it's not Zalix. He has not resubscribed to my knowledge, but Mimosa McNeary has become a Patreon member. So how about that? We lost like 7 and we've gained 1 back so far. So thank you to the Asmaniacs for supporting us. Kashmir says, would you trade Sauce for a first-round pick?
A first-round pick? Probably not. If someone is offering a Jamal Adams-like trade compensation, which was 2 first-rounders and a third, you have to think about it. I'm not saying definitively in October here that you absolutely have to trade Sauce Gardner, but if they're going to hire a new GM and they want to do their own thing, and you're looking at, okay, who's guys on this roster that have actual, value in a trade, he's on that list. I think you have to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm right there with you. My thing with Sauce is his value is low right now, and like I'm just hoping that with a new coaching staff next year, he could recapture the talent that is clearly like I know he has not had a good year, and yesterday he had a really bad game. Like, that was awful. But like this idea that like there's no way he could be good again. Like, this guy was a first team All-Pro his first 2 years. No one's ever done that at that position. Like, I think we gotta, put some faith that as bad as it is right now, maybe it's just like the dysfunction of this season that with real coaching, which you hope they could finally get right this time around, he could go back to being a really good player. Like, and also, same for Garrett Wilson. I thought Garrett continues to play well. I'm not getting rid of Garrett Wilson. He has a high, I give a you-know-what about this meter. And I think the Jets need more guys like that.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. To me, I think, and there were Garrett Wilson frustrations. There were Breece Hall. And, pretty much everyone from that, great 2022 class has at some point this year gotten hit with some criticism, fair or unfair. And to me, I think that at least with Garrett, he's someone who is unquestionably trying each and every game and putting out his best effort and genuinely cares. With Sauce, I'm not saying that he's not trying. The tackling effort is getting a little bit frustrating. No one's saying that you have to be, the best tackling corner of all time, but I just think some of the effort is lacking right now. But maybe not enough to the point where I'm going, absolutely, there's no world where you can't pay him. You have to trade him. I think you don't become a first-team All-Pro in your first 2 years without having unbelievable talent. Hopefully there's someone who can get him figured out. I'd be very apprehensive to pay him after this year based on how he's performed. But if you want to let it play out on year 4 for him, you pick up the 5th-year option, he plays out in year 4, and then you consider signing him or trading him or whatever after that. I think that's probably your best course of action here.
Yeah, like to me, Sauce is under contract for next year and the year after because you're going to pick up his 5th-year option. So I don't think there's any rush to trade him. There's no rush to extend him. I think that's okay. You could say, Sauce, we love you, but we need more from you this year and year 4. Then we'll talk contract after. They did that with Quinnen. That worked out fine,
No, exactly.
Altoona writes in with a super chat. I carried my older son crying out of the butt fumble game. He is 21 now and refuses to come to the Halloween game with me. Irreparable damage. Yeah, I mean, for the younger Jet fan, I get it. Like for the Connor Longs of the world and people a little older than him, like, unless you're above the age of 25, you probably don't remember the Rex years, which is sad how long it's like we're talking about Rex like it just happened. Like it's sad how an entire generation of Jet fans only knows just losing.
Yeah, no, like, I don't know. I was 15 years old in 2010 when they made the playoff. A lot has changed in my life over the last 14 years. I'm a homeowner now. Like, there's a lot of change with this playoff drought, man. It's unreal. I feel for the kids who are born in the 2000s and beyond who don't remember what it was like during that run, because the Jets were at one point a functional NFL franchise. I know it doesn't feel like that, but in the 2000s, they made the playoffs a lot. They even won some playoff games too, and they were fun. But football's not fun anymore. I haven't had fun watching football in a long time.
Nope. The offseason usually is our time to shine, and we finally thought that was going to be different.
Not this year.
Nope. I got some great news, though. Zalix just signed up for the Patreon, Matt, for the entire year. Wow. Public shaming Zalix worked. I'm just kidding, Zalix, but I appreciate the support, man. We'll get you back at the Discord now, too. Yeti writes in, I have put my family through a lot. I'm out of apologies. We just got our Arizona tickets last week. Should have waited a week. I'm still a fan, always. Man, what was the rush to get those tickets?
That's tough. The New York Jets against the Arizona Cardinals. Well, it's in Arizona though, no? Right?
Yeah, I guess he's going out to Arizona, or he might live there.
I feel for you. I really do. I've had people, someone offered me tickets, I think last week, or no, it might have been the Buffalo game. They're like, you want to go? It's like, I genuinely don't have any interest in going. Like, it's sad that is the response, but I was offered free tickets and I was like, I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather watch from home.
It's sad, but I could say I went to the highlight of the Aaron Rodgers era. I was at the home opener this year where he looked like an MVP. They killed the Patriots, and I should have appreciated it more then when they were 2-1. I thought this was just the beginning of a fun year, and turns out it was the culmination of it was the apex of the Jet season. Who knew?
Yeah, and then it's been a steep fall from grace after that.
It never ends, man. It never ends. All right, Gusbuster Hotline's open. Let's mix in some calls, and then we'll continue to get to the super chats here. Let's go to Jeff Ulbrich. He's first up. Coach, what do you got for us?
What's up, fellas? This is the shortened beard. I told you I looked a little bit more like him.
You really do look like him. That's a great costume you got.
That's my Halloween costume the last couple of years. I wish I was making the kicks. I'll tell you that.
Are you going Thursday?
I can't. I'm in California.
Oh,
I'm going to the Arizona game. I'll fly to Miami for that one too, but that's because I'm, delusional. I was looking up the difference earlier between drug addicts and Jets fans, and I was looking at these definitions and checking out these words, and I deleted like cocaine addict and I put in Jets fan, and I just keep thinking, what the heck are we doing to ourselves? We love this team and they're killing us. I'm addicted to the Jets, and I would go to every game if I was close and still bitch about them losing and wish for a win every game. So when I hear tank or I hear fire sale, I think fire sale, fine. Get some assets for expiring contracts, free up some cap room. And then beyond that, losing for a better draft pick? Like, I'm not a fighter, but no way. I want to win. And with our luck, we'll likely be mathematically eliminated and then go on a winning streak for the rest of the year. That's probably going to happen.
Coach Brick, you're going to be the one to make it happen, all right?
I hope so. Fellas, I appreciate you both. I love your shows. I love that I found you and I can tune in while I'm working at my desk, doing my architecture shit, and hear the Jets.
Hang in there. Well, I'll tell you what. I said I was going to retire this, or they lost to New England. I'm bringing it out of retirement just for you, Coach Brick.
Let's get Brick up.
Well, that's it. That's the last time I'm playing it.
No, yeah. Unfortunately, we're no longer bricked up.
No, unfortunately, we are. What would be the opposite of bricked up? Someone in the chat will come up with something creative. Douglas says NFL officially licensed gear will be cheaper than a jersey from parts unknown. I mean, if they want to do a fire sale, they should do a fire sale on merch. Give the fans something.
75% off at jetshop.com now through the holidays.
25 says draft Cam Ward and let him learn behind Tyrod. Yeah, I mean, look, we'll have all off season to debate this, but that's where the fan base is at. Big fella, kicker's coming in tomorrow. Too late, jackasses. Everything they do is too late. Firing the coach when it should have been done in the offseason if we were going to go down this path. Trading for Devontae at 2-4, getting ready back at 2-5. Everything they do is too late.
Yeah, you gotta wait till the kicker blows you at least 4 games before you can possibly think about moving on. Not after 1, not after 2. 4 is the magic number.
Austria Jet fan says, got to get Ward or Sanders matched with Travis for quarterback. Look, if they draft the quarterback, I'm on board with having Jordan Travis compete with that guy, but I still think you need a veteran there to help whoever the quarterback of the future is, whether it's Tyrod or who's under contract or Rodgers who's under contract. That has to be the path.
Somebody. Yeah, but I'm good with if they want to, like, let's say Rodgers retires in this scenario and it's Tyrod, a rookie quarterback, and Jordan Travis. I'm okay with that quarterback room. Let Tyrod start the first 10 games of the year and then maybe go to the backup, or not the backup, but the rookie for the back half of the season.
I'm just reading some of the comments. Chames flaccid up. Brick down. Shitting bricks. Testosterone down. Brick down.
Oh.
Yep. I knew the chat would come through. Get shrinked up. Yep, it's happening, man. All right, so what do we got here? Michael says, Jake, are all the practices walkthroughs? And a short week, typically they are. Yeah, typically they are.
What do they do at practice is my question.
Well, that's the other thing. They might actually be better this week because I don't think they practice. So, like, it's perfect for them.
Yeah. We know that they do it, right? Like the beat reporters are there. We get pictures and video, but I'm not convinced what they're doing is actually helping anything.
Shimshak says, how much cap space would you have if you can A-Rod? If you can A-Rod? Well, you would take a huge dead cap hit, so that wouldn't be great either.
Yeah, I believe it's a $50 million cap hit. I think I'm trying to pull it up right now. If you post June 1st, cut him, it's $14 million in dead money for 1, 2, 3 years, and then $7 million in dead money in 2028.
Which is really not that bad with the cap going on. That's very manageable. It's not like you know what I mean. Like 14 million is not a lot. They're carrying 50 million in dead cap this year, and we're lauding how talented the team is. So it could be done. Yeah,
I think that's the way to do it. A pre-June 1st cut is not as nice. It's 35, 21, and 7.
He'd have to play ball with them if he's going to retire. He would have to say, "Hey, I'll retire through June 1st to help the cap." You know.
Yeah, I think that would be the move.
25 says full fire sale mode. Nobody should be safe. Nobody is safe right now. Verdine says, why is Greg Zuerlein still on the roster? This should have been breaking news 8 hours ago. Not only is he still on the roster, he might be involved in a kicking competition tomorrow at MetLife.
What do you think they're going to have Greg do? You're like, all right, you watch. Let us know which of the 3 kickers you think is the best.
This is insane. Michael writes in, guys, my 49th year of being a Jets fan, so disappointing. Think of Jim Dolan for the Knicks. Hire the right management and coach. Better times ahead. I've used this example a lot the last 2 weeks. Honestly, you're an Islander fan too, Matt. I know the Islanders are not exactly great right now, but of the first 10 years when they got new ownership, they made the playoffs 7 of the first 10 years. One of the smartest things the Islanders ownership did was at the time, I know Lou's not great now, but he hired Lou Lamoriello, who hired Barry Trotz, and the Islanders went to back-to-back conference finals. Like, it can be done with woebegone franchises if you hire the right people. The Mets have the right people running their show right now. Like that's the key. Like if Woody could get the right people in charge, they can turn this around.
Yeah, I've seen it with 2 out of my 3 teams. The 3 teams that I care about, Jets, Islanders, and Mets, all at one point had ownership issues. The Islanders didn't know where they were going to be playing for like most of my youth, and they get new ownership. They hire a real general manager, and I know he's got his flaws now, and that's a whole conversation for another day. But they are relevant. They make the playoffs every year, and they went on a couple runs. Granted, it's 4 years ago now at this point, but just hire someone to legitimize the franchise. That's essentially what they did with these ownership changes and what the Mets did with Steve Cohen after a few years. like I don't know. I like your Knicks example though, because the owner didn't change, but things got better. But it's about hiring the right people. And to my knowledge, at least, Dolan has relatively stayed out of the way the last few years.
Yeah, and also the Rangers have consistently been really good too. So Dolan's
Yep.
credit there. Hector writes in, Jake, Matt, subscriber to both of you. Keep up the good work. As for the Jets, I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know if I can make my son a Jet fan. He's only 10 months. Well, the good news is he won't remember any of it for the first couple of years. So you got some time still.
Yeah, you got about 5 years before you have to start worrying about that.
Dante with a super chat. How do we see the issues and have solutions to address them? But the Jets are always too late. Also, Pete Carroll as VP of football ops. He wanted that role at Seattle. I don't hate that. If Pete Carroll wants to come in and try and like work with the GM and help hire the next coach, I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, honestly, if they had Pete Carroll this year, they'd be in a much better position.
That's I don't want to give too much away, but I'm working on a video about the next steps that the Jets have to do and hiring a VP of football operations.
Show the team, Woody. Show the team. That's going to be every comment you're going to get on that video.
Right. And my first note is, well, obviously I would like Woody Johnson to sell. That's probably not going to happen. So here's what should happen next. That's literally the first line that I have written down. But Pete Carroll is one of the names that I'm going to bring up in that video about who should be that guy. He's been in this market before. He's had success in the league. He's won a Super Bowl. It was respected, like someone who's a real person, not just someone who's going to be a puppet and do whatever the owner wants.
The Hamburger writes in, this team is not capable of even tanking. They can't even hold the kicker accountable. Into the darkness for eternity for us fans. Yeah. I mean, all these guys Ulbrich could talk about the darkness. We Jet fans, like we were born into the darkness. Ulbrich is merely adopting the darkness. Like we were born into it, man. Bane style.
I can't. I had some trouble reading the Ulbrich and Aaron Rodgers darkness comments yesterday. That had me in a really, no pun intended, but really dark place reading that.
Was this before or after you were at the drag bar that people were very upset about?
I guess during. During. It was on the floor below me too. We were, I don't know. We don't have to get into that.
Incredible. Sean writes in, watch the offense start clicking. Watch the Jets. Matt, Sean, they will win games down the stretch. Anyone who thinks this just ends with a 3 or 4 win season does not pay attention to what this franchise does. Like, Matt, you know it. They're going to win games at the end here. They're not just going to lose out. That'd be too easy.
Yeah, no. It's it would be way too easy for that to be the case. They'll be like what, 2-10 and then win 3 more games and finish 5-12.
I definitely could see that. 25 in the house. Everything we do is ass backwards. Total ineptitude. Fair. Douglas writes in, with NIL, I could see any quarterback that still has eligibility staying in school to avoid being drafted by the Jets. Deion will have Shador doing Elway or Eli if drafted. Oh, here we go again.
Yeah, Shador seems like a really talented kid.
I don't want to deal with Deion in the New York market, though.
That's what I was going to say. And I like some of the things that Deion has done at Colorado. And like, he very much so, like, it's clear that he cares for those kids out there. And I like that. And people like playing for him. I can't deal with that every single week. With his, he's just going to be commenting on the state of the Jets. It would be an absolute shit show. I don't think we could touch him.
Yeah. Deion's kids got to go to a more stable team that can absorb that type of attention.
Yeah.
Not the Jets.
No.
And look, I have no problem with Rodgers, like McAfee appearances, and we know he's a lightning rod, but like to go from Rodgers to then you're going to draft Deion's kid and deal with all that. Come on.
No, it would just be never, I mean, positive spin the negative here. It would just be never ending content for us, though.
That is true. One of these days, this content will be fun to do because they're winning,
That's what I was hoping for this year. I've done like 6 years of just god awful football coverage. I was hoping to see a good football team for a change.
Cobra writes in, sell the effing team. Best roster we've had. It starts at the top. No owner should even be firing personnel. Great way for toxicity. Andrew, I want Woody out. I get all the anger about Woody. I do. But you cannot fire the owner. That's the problem. All right? Dig up some dirt on Woody Johnson if it exists, and maybe he'll be forced to sell. That's the only thing I can tell you. Like, I don't know what else to say.
There's got to be a really good personal investigator we could hire somehow. Start a GoFundMe.
Henny says, I bet we win Thursday. Get the Henny ready. Henny, it's ready. But I'm not feeling confident.
No, that's going to put on the back burner for at least a few more weeks.
If they win Thursday, are we going to be like, well, if they beat Arizona and Indy, they could be 5-6 at the bye week?
I can't do it to myself. I know that the people will. And again, God bless them, but I can't do that in good faith to myself.
Nope, can't do it. 25, Sanders, the diva, draft him. You draft Deion too. Agreed. All right, let's get to some more calls here before we say goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been waiting a long time to get this guy's thoughts on the latest Jet debacle. We say hello to the Lane Train.
Hi, how are you? Bruce Hall. That's good.
Oh,
Lane? Lane?
Hi. Yes, I'm back, Jake.
Hey, Lane.
Hello, Jake.
hi, Lane.
So, hello, Matt. So, how do you feel about the Jets, Jake?
You're laughing. I think you know how I feel.
Upset. No, but anyway.
Lane, what's wrong with your internet? No.
Oh,
Lane. Oh. Sad.
Lane.
Hi. Sorry, everybody. See you next call when we talk about sports again.
Oh, poor Lane. I wanted to hear what he had to say on the state of the Jets.
Yeah, I wanted his thoughts.
Fortunate.
Even Lane knows he was trolling there, though. He gave me that look. How do you feel about the Jets? How do you feel, Lane?
Not good.
All right. I did 4 hours on the radio on the Jets yesterday. I did another 2.5 on the postgame show last night, another 2.5 this morning. And we're 50 minutes into this one, Lane. You know how I feel about the Jets. And it's not good. Ugh. Anyway, big fella with a super chat here. Jets should have left Zerline's ass at Quincy Market. He's become the Zach Wilson of kickers. It's a disgrace he's still on the team. If Rodgers retires, what does that do for our cap? We actually just hit on this. They could spread out his dead cap at post June 1. It's only about $14 million in dead cap for next year. So it's manageable. You know, it's funny. I saw these stat projections for Rodgers, and I'm not saying he's been great this year. Obviously, he's not what he once was. He's playing injured, but he is on pace for a 62% completion percentage, 4,029 yards, which for Jet standards is the most of all time in a single season, which is sad, but it's true. 26 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. If he put up those numbers with last year's team, they win 10 games. Like, he's probably about the 18th to 20th best quarterback in the league right now, give or take. Like, it's not great. He's not awful. He's way better than what we had last year. But, like, everything we thought he was going to have to help him, even if he wasn't what he once was, running game, doesn't have it. The issues with the defense, top 5, not even close. Greg Zuerlein of a year ago, they would have 3 more wins. Like, that's the thing. It's like Rodgers is certainly not blameless here. He's not what he once was. He's playing through a lot of stuff. He's 40. We get all that. But, like, you look at his projected stats, and if he did that last year, this team would have won 10 or 11 games. It's crazy.
It's remarkable. We all thought, hey, they're just a quarterback away, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to be elite. If he's average, which, as you said, that's essentially what he's been. It's been up and down. I don't think he's the main problem, but he's not doing enough to elevate them to win these games. So I think 18th, 20th best quarterback in the league, fine, but not enough. Not enough. Too many other issues have come up this year for this football team.
Hexon says, the worst part for me is I have to wait 11 months to find out if the offseason changes will make a difference. What a waste, Jake. You keep me saying, hey, we'll be here every step of the way. You know, me and Matt, we've been doing this a while now. Like, we cover this team every day. We're in the trenches, so it's a grind.
I thought we were in the clear after the Adam Gase year. I thought it could only get better.
Well, I started the channel when Saleh was hired, so it's kind of full circle now. We're going to go through a GM and a coaching search this time in the offseason.
Great. A lot of content.
Douglas says, hell with AI, just make up shit on Woody. Well, that's one way to go about it. Bo says, I'll find a picture of Woody in a halter top and Patriots thong if it means we could have a winning season. All right.
Oh, God.
I'm starting to think Jet fans aren't happy with the owner, man.
No.
Pats fans just won the Super Bowl, stole our souls. That's what sucks, too. I was so angry at the Jets. Like, just knowing that the Pats in their rebuild year still got to have a ha-ha moment at the Jets' expense. Like, that sucks.
It does suck. It's, I don't know, one of the many things that have been horrible about this season. Just add it on the list. Pile it on.
Sco in the house. Sco, good to see you yesterday. It would be Jets fashion if they lose to the Patriots and then beat the Texans. It could happen. Like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to win, but, would it be shocking if they won? This is the type of game now that everyone's officially checked out. They do win. Then they lose next week to Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know if I, in good faith, could pick the Jets to win another game this year until they prove it.
Yep. I'm picking against them. I'm just saying I wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be the most shocking of things if they won, because think about it. Of these 5 losses in a row, 4 of them have been by 1 score. And the one that wasn't, they actually led at halftime against Pittsburgh.
Dude, they were up 9 points.
Yeah,
they could have been up by double digits if they don't throw the interception, if Rodgers doesn't throw the pick there. Crazy.
Michael writes in, being bald, I don't have to worry about pulling the hair out of my head. Well, that's one way to go about it.
That is a positive spin for the bald man.
Speaking of bald men, Purple Belt Mike is on the line. What's up, PBM?
Oh man, I got friends that are delusional at work too. They're like, oh, 2-6 teams have made the playoffs. I'm like, dude, the Jets are not making the playoffs, man. It's not. Get that out of here. There's two of like I don't know what is it, 100 and whatever. I forgot like what the statistic was, but we're not. Season's over. Everything's over. I hate my life. I hate the Jets. They just they I can't even play Madden. They suck the football life out of me. I can't even play Madden. I wanted to play Madden before and I couldn't even do it. They suck the life out of me. It's aggravating. It sucks. This sucks.
Mike, I wish I could tell you it gets better, but I have no idea. And that's what I think sucks so much.
I also have no faith that they're going to do anything right because they've never shown that they will do anything right. If they sign somebody, he's going to suck. If they draft somebody, he's going to suck. I just don't know what to do because I have no faith and they've never shown me that they can do the right thing. And all this stuff about, oh, let's get Rex Ryan back. So our offense sucks and they're undisciplined. Like people forget the amount of penalties and bullshit under Rex. Like I love Rex because of the best years I had, but he's not the greatest coach of all time. I don't know. And people thinking that Ben Johnson's going to come here. Ben Johnson's not coming here. We throw $20 million a year at Ben Johnson. He's not going to come here. It's not going to happen.
I also don't know if Ben Johnson's like the end all be all. Like he's another coordinator that's never been a head coach before. That's why I think like, okay, if you get him, great. At least he's an offensive guy. But Matt, I don't know how you feel. And Mike, I love the passion. Like to me, I prefer the guy who's been experienced as a head coach before instead of bringing in someone that's never done it and asking them to learn on the job in the biggest media market in the world.
Yeah, I don't want to do the rookie head coach again. Now I could be excited about Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowick or someone like that because of the success that they had on the offensive side of the ball. But my preference, if Kevin Stefanski shakes free from Cleveland, that'd be a good one. Mike Vrabel with he's not in the league right now, but he's someone who's more the disciplinarian CEO style of coach who's had success in the league before. That would be my preference than going with the hot shot coordinator this go around.
Ladies and gentlemen, Edward says Jets need an attitude. 97 and 98, it was Parcells and Brian Cox. 09 and 10, it was Rex and Bart Scott. Bring back Rex. Rex is getting a lot of love from the fan base today, Matt. And look, I don't think there are worse ideas than that. My questions with Rex would be who's the GM? Because Rex picking players once it was clear it was Mangini picking a lot of those players with Tannenbaum, not the other way around. And when Rex became the coach and had influence on personnel, Quentin Copels, Kyle Wilson, all these other scrubs. We know how that worked. Who's the GM with Rex if you're going to go down this path? And who's his staff? Who's the OC? Because that was a big problem with Rex too.
Yeah, I will always love Rex Ryan for 2009 and 2010. I have a very hard time saying that the Jets should go back to Rex Ryan because I think what we're doing, unfortunately, is looking at the first 2.5 years of his tenure and forgetting him as a coach from essentially 2012 on to his last 2 years in Buffalo. He also went, he wasn't very good in Buffalo, lasted 1.5 years there. So I don't think that's the wise way to go. I appreciate his passion. He was good when he was here, but I think you're just going backwards at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I rather Rex than someone who's never done it before, but if you're going to try and hire an experienced coach, Stefanski, Vrabel, hell, John Gruden coached more recently. If you figure out the lawsuits with the league and all that, and that's even a possibility. He's also an offensive-minded guy. Like that would matter to me too.
Yeah, it definitely would. I would love offensive-minded coach for a change.
Coach James in the house. Jake Woody made a huge mistake firing coach before the season ended. Big gap of leadership. Salah wasn't great, but give him at least a season with Aaron. Yeah, look, at the time, I was like, I'm surprised he did it. I felt like it was probably a week before I thought it was a real possibility. And it hasn't worked. But I can't sit here. I'd be a phony if I said, wow, like, what a disgrace by Woody doing it. My take at the time was, to me, it's a little early, but, might as well try and do something. But in hindsight, it hasn't worked. Obviously, it's backfired, and Woody's got to own it. He's the owner who made that decision.
Well, the Jets also sucked under Robert Saleh too.
Right.
Like it's not like they were this great team, and now suddenly they're bad. Like they were bad with him too. So I don't really understand this narrative, other than that the defense hasn't looked great the last couple of weeks. But Robert Saleh's job wasn't the defensive coordinator; he was the head coach of the team, and the team had a lot of problems. So I'm not. I don't really care about moving on from Robert Saleh. He was a dead man walking.
To me, it's like you just expedited the suck of this team because the move backfired, but they weren't going to win with Saleh. I left that game in London wanting him gone, and I calmed down a little bit. I was like, all right, he's probably going to get the Buffalo game, and then he was fired the next day. So, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Who knows? Maybe they just they pull the ripcord out. Would it surprise you if Joe Douglas, we wake up tomorrow and it's like Joe Douglas fired on a Tuesday?
No, I wouldn't. Or maybe he's done after this Texans game, and then like interim GM Phil Savage will oversee the front office till the end of the year.
That's so depressing. Who else is in this front? It's gonna be Phil Savage in like an empty boardroom.
Yeah, there's no one there. Who's even there? They never replaced Rex Hogan, the great Rex Hogan. So great that he has no job right now. If he was so great, like every beat writer told us he was when he got fired.
And Chad Alexander, another one
left to go to the Chargers.
Oh, that's right. He did go to the Chargers. I forgot that he went somewhere else.
25 says, feel like we hold on to these bums on purpose. I mean, Greg Zuerlein still being on this team today is just wow. Coach James says, not a fan of Saleh, but not a fan of another rookie coach. We have tried it again, tired. Yeah, I think experienced coach should be the move, and not Adam Gase. Like, how stupid is Chris Johnson? We want an experienced offensive-minded coach. You hire Adam Gase.
Yeah, someone who was run out of Miami. They're like, we need to bring in that guy who goes 7-9 every year and is just toxic and runs all his good players out of town. Let's bring him in.
Insane. All right, we'll do one more call here. This guy has been flailing his arms like this for like an hour already. I'll stay on and get to the rest, but ladies and gentlemen, since they have cleared the air, it is time to once again say hello to Bobby O. Midnight.
Well, I need to find Matt O'Leary. He's supposed to come on my show. I want his butt on a stick. Bobby. Hey, man. Hi, Jake. How you guys doing? My brother says hi to you guys.
Bobby.
What's up, Bobby?
So, that guy from Miami, what was that guy you just mentioned? Case? No.
Adam Gase.
Yeah, Adam Case. Remember who says he's a great coach? He's a great coach. Mr. IQ of a dumb sock. That's what he is. Cowherd. He said that Aaron Rodgers is a cancer. He's dumb as ass. He says stupid things. They should take him off the air. That's all I think. I think I should be in the, general manager. I could.
You want to be the GM of the Jets, Bob?
Yeah, I could get good players, And
what about a coach? I think they have good players. They just don't have a coach.
All right, I'll be an offensive coach then. How's that?
Oh, you want to be the offensive coordinator?
Yeah. Well,
I like it.
I have a few ideas for offensive coach. Grable is great. I like him.
He's a defensive coach.
Yeah, but he went to the playoffs, didn't he, with the Titans? Yep.
What role are you taking with the Jets? Are you the OC? Are you the GM?
No, he was the head coach.
No, I'm asking about you. I know what Mike Vrabel did.
No, I'm only kidding about me. I just wanted to mention the offensive coaches. I like the idea of Gruden. He's awesome, isn't he? And then Rex Ryan. We want him back. You
want Rex back?
He loves his M&Ms. What is it?
What?
He likes
his M&Ms, remember?
And he likes feet.
No, I know feet, but during the when they were on Hard Knocks, he kept the M&Ms, remember?
He likes candy. Yeah, that was when Rex was at his best when he was fat.
Yeah, he lost weight. He did.
Yeah, well, as Rex lost weight, the Jets lost games. If you go back,
yeah, he was on whatchamacallit. He's on ABC, right, or ESPN, one of the two.
He's on ESPN.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. I give him credit. I'm losing the weight. I can't wait till Thursday.
This was when Rex was at his best.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man.
So I can't wait till Thursday. We're going to be so excited going to see a 2-6 team.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! I can't wait. Let's get partying naked. Woo-hoo. No, I'm kidding.
What? Hey, now, family show, Bobby. No one wants to see you naked.
No, I know. Nobody wants. No, that came out crazy. But I think hopefully they lose. Win on
Who lose?
Thursday.
You want the Jets to win or lose?
Yeah, I want them to win. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
So
say
Jets win.
Bobby, how did
20
you make it through an entire call without mentioning the fact Braylon Allen, your boy, scored a touchdown yesterday?
Yes, he did very good yesterday. Yes. Remember when I called you yesterday on the show?
I forgot.
I'm unbricked.
You're unbricked.
Remember you said, "Oh, that was a great comment." You like that comment?
Yeah. It's a good line.
Who was the guy yesterday? Got me on. He's a nice guy too.
I'll tell you when you're ready.
I'm ready. He's a nice guy.
I'll tell you when you're older.
I'm old out far. I'm 56.
You don't look like a day over 20.
Oh, good. I love that. I want to congratulate you, Matt, and also Aurora. You know why? Because you guys at a young age have a house. You're 25, you said, right, Madeline?
29.
29. That's still young. And I don't remember how old Aurora is, but she has her own house too.
21.
In Texas. What?
21.
Wow.
Yes, I give you guys credit. I'm telling you, it's hard to own a house these days. But
It was hard. Long road.
But I'm
Harder
happy.
owning a house or being a Jet fan?
Probably being a Jeff fan.
It's close. It's closer than you'd like to think.
No, but it looks good. Your background looks excellent. You
Thank
chilled
you.
out. So is what's the other guy, the fly guy, the weird what's his name? Your pal, Ryan.
Ryan?
Yeah, I like his
Okay.
background. I like his dog. I like his daughter. She's adorable. He has 2 kids now, he said.
2 kids, 2 daughters.
2 dogs too?
No, no,
Oh,
2
2 daughters.
1 dog, 2 daughters.
Oh, 2 daughters. Yeah, okay, I have a daughter. She's 8.
Bobby, are we done here? Can I let Matt O'Leary go? He's been
Yeah, I
on for
want
an
to
hour.
say goodbye. Matt O'Leary, it was nice to see you. Pray for us on Thursday, okay? Supposed
All
to
right,
be
good.
nice
Good luck.
weather, though, but pray for us.
I will.
They smelly right now, but we have to cheer for them. All right, Jake, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I waved my hands all over the place. I just
all right,
get
Bob.
excited to talk to people. You know that.
Of course, you
Hey,
love
you-
the people.
I love people. Okay, we'll talk to you later.
All right, goodbye.
Bye, Bobby.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course.
What a moment. What a time. Dark Knight Steve, sounds like Bobby wants to rent a room from Matt, first and last month's rent, or are we okay with credit? Yeah, I mean, if Bobby wants to move in with you, I mean, are you going to give him a Bobby Midnight deal?
I got a nice crawl space that has his name on it.
Dark Knight Steve, Matt O, and Bobby M. What a show. Ratings. That's right. That is right. Matt, I appreciate you. Where can people find you if they are living under a rock and they don't already know?
Yeah, I am over at Matt O'Leary NY, talking all things New York Jets. Try to have some fun. Try to do it with a sense of humor in these dark times. So if you want to check it out, it'd be much appreciated. Jake, thanks for having me as always.
You're the best, Matt. The great Matt O'Leary, everybody. Make sure you guys subscribe to him. Does a great job covering this team. Please subscribe to my channel as well if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 40K, and people are going to check out soon on the season if they haven't. So I'm really making the push this week that if you're one of the people tuned in right now, right? There's 624 of you watching live. I am now 97 subscribers away from 40,000. So maybe this is the week we can get it done with a short week and a lot of content between now and the game. So click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Cheeseman says no longer bricked up. Got BD. Brick tile dysfunction. Bo says, I found the next thing we need Zerline to kick, the curb. It's a joke. He's still on this team. Purple Belt Mike writes in, we have BDE, brickless, D-less energy, SMFH. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Hey, Yankee fans, I'm hosting a watch party tomorrow, though. Game 4, Yankees need to win tonight. I don't like the fact that Aaron Boone didn't do anything to the lineup other than playing Jose Trevino at catcher. But I didn't expect him to do anything. Win tonight, and we'll tie up the World Series tomorrow night all together. Vanderbilt Market, I'll be with the Team ESPN watching the game, so come join us if you're in the New York City area. It's located right next to Grand Central. New spot. They'll have 20 TVs with the game on, great food options. It'll be a lot of fun. So let's watch the Yanks tomorrow night if you're in the New York area. All right. Comments, questions, super chats. I want to get right back to the calls. But first, I want to play something that really annoyed me. And I love the guy who put it out there because he does a great job breaking down film. These are two plays that Brian Baldinger broke down on film on his Twitter account earlier. Baldy, of course, with NFL Network. He actually does some work for the Jets themselves. This was Baldy breaking down two key moments in this Jets-Patriots game from yesterday.
The Jets do a lot of things that just make you scratch your head. Like, what is this play? Rucker goes in motion, and he comes back. All right. Xavier Gibson comes in ghost motion, but it's not really a fake to him. The linemen are all going downfield. Morgan Moses, Tippmann, right? Simpson, they're all downfield. But they're throwing a screen to Breece Hall. Like, sometimes you'll get one lineman that will leave a little early and go downfield. But all three linemen are downfield. So what is this play? There's not even a fake to Gibson here to hold anybody. Nothing. So now you get all these guys downfield. And now you're going to throw a screen? Like, on what universe do you do that? And they don't block anybody. It's just a head scratcher. Trying to, like, what is the play where all these guys, Moses, Simpson, Tippmann, would all be downfield? Maybe this one play is indicative of the entire Jets season to this point. Not over yet. But this is just hard to explain. All right, Breece Hall off the play action is going to run into his guard, knock his guard off. But still, the protection's pretty good. All right, now, the Jets are running three deep routes with Garrett, with Devontae, all right, and with Xavier Gibson. So they're going deep, all right? Aaron's, like, not feeling it, but he's got a safety valve right here in Tyler Conklin on 2nd and 6. Now, for some reason, he throws it off the back of Tyron Smith. And now it gets crazy. Tippmann touches it. Simpson touches it. Like, everybody touches the ball. And Aaron's down here just getting crushed by two Patriots, and the ball's rolling around on the ground. It's an incomplete pass, and Aaron gets up, and he's just completely frustrated because he's never seen anything like it. But he's a part of it. Like, just a complete ineptitude in what...
Horrible. Horrible. It just never ends, man.
You know, thinking is overrated.
And so is winning. We never win. All we do is lose. We find new ways to lose. You know, like these losses, like they're never conventional. They're brutal. I know like every team has bad losses. I get it. But like the way the Jets lose, they find new ways to lose. And here's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Like the Jets made history yesterday. They became the first team to score 20-plus points, not turn it over, allow fewer than 250 yards, and lose. This is what I mean. Like other teams lose, the Jets invent new ways to lose. It's horrible. I mean, I'm dying inside. But the show must go on. Ladies and gentlemen, Edward Ziff is up next. What's up, Edward?
If you're inventing new ways
Edward, your mic is very far from your mic, so we can't hear you.
If you're inventing new ways to lose, then that's creative and stupid at the same time. Yeah, Zerline should have been handed a bus ticket after yesterday's game and say, hey, yeah, here you go. I'm at a loss for words because I'm sure you, as well as I, don't know how to fix this. And not that we're football guys and we would, but I mean, it's at the point now where it's like, what the hell do you do when things are this pathetic and this bad with absolutely no hope? I mean, we have some great ball players who are not getting any guidance at all. This is 1,000%, 100% the coaching staff. It's the coaching. Why Keith Carter wasn't fired in the offseason is, I don't know. I mean, he's probably one of the worst offensive line coaches in the NFL. He's already been chased off at two teams because the players absolutely hate him to the core of their souls. There's no way you can have a guy like this as a leader. Now, I remember a couple of years back when what's his name was in rehab. Who's the guy? I'm just drawing a blank. Becton. He was in rehab, and one of the guys that was rehabbing him was this renowned O-line coach. Why do we not have him? Does this make any sense to you?
Well, I don't know why they currently have their current offensive line coach, who no one has any positive things to say.
He sucks.
Yeah.
He sucks. I mean, he sucks. He sucks. I'm channeling you now. He sucks. The Zach Wilson thing. But I have to tell you, I knew they were going to lose that game. I knew it. I told Boy Green. I said, there's no way the Patriots are going to let the Jets sweep them for the first time in 25 years in their house. I said, it's not going to happen. They're going to will themselves to win this game. They're going to pull it out somehow, and they're going to do it in Jet fashion. And they did. They absolutely did. I told them, I said, there's no way after being called soft by their head coach and playing at home, they're going to allow the Jets for the first time in 25 years to sweep them. It's not going to happen. The Jets have no character. They have no balls. They have no coaching. All they are is a bunch of great players individually that are not a cohesive unit. They say that the sum of the parts that the sum of the parts is supposed to be greater than the individual pieces to be a good team. The Jets are the opposite. They're just, and it's not that they're not trying. It's they don't know how because they don't have leadership. They just don't have it. And I know, and I got to give some credit to Woody Johnson, even though he doesn't know what he's doing, because at least he's trying to do something. This guy legitimately wants to win at this point. Maybe he hasn't in the past, but I think he really wants to win because he ain't getting any younger. And it's just mind-boggling. I don't know what I would do, but I do have one idea, which everyone's going to tell me I'm a fucking asshole, but I have one idea. And I don't know if you can do it because Gruden's got all these lawsuits with the NFL and stuff, but I think Gruden would be a great head coach and Rex would be a great defensive coordinator on that team.
He would never take a DC job with the Jets, ever.
I think he would.
He would not.
He loves that team.
Yeah, but if Rex Ryan, who's been the second best coach, you could argue, in the history of the Jet franchise, got an opportunity to coach the Jets, he's never doing it as a DC. He would only do it as a head coach.
Would Gruden be an OC then?
I doubt it. What is Gruden? What's the point of Gruden being an OC?
Because he'd be the first OC in 25 years that could get the Jets to play like a cohesive team.
Yeah, but what's in it for him to do that? Like how much money are you? Yeah, but how much money are you paying an OC? It's not realistic.
I don't know. Maybe
if you want Gruden, make him the head coach. If you want Rex, make him the head coach, and trust they could hire a good staff around him.
Well, like we were saying, Gruden's got all these issues now. I don't even know if he's feasible. I don't even know if he could play in the league right now. Be in the league right now. I don't know what all the ramifications were. So I know he had some pretty horrific emails sent out, but let me tell you something. Everyone in their private moments will slip up and say something stupid. You, me, anybody. So, I mean, there's got to be a point where you forgive him. I mean, it's not like he beat the crap out of a woman or something, he just said some dumbass stuff. But, a lot of NFL players who've done a lot worse have been forgiven because of the talent they have. So Gruden's no different. He's a talent. But who would you want as their head coach, and who would you want as their offensive coordinator if we went with another defensive head coach like Vrabel?
I'd want you as the OC, Eddie. All right? You got the headset on already? You want John Gruden, just say Spider 2Y banana. All right, let's go. If they hire Vrabel, who would I want as an OC? I haven't even gotten that far yet. I really haven't. I'm worried about the GM and the head coach first. And the head coaching wise, you can hire someone with previous experience. I really would hope they could get like a Kevin Stefanski if he gets fired. I'd hire him in 2 seconds. 25 says, we love eating poop and Woody loves it too. He a freak. Thank you for that contribution to the program, 25. Brutal. Michael Levinson is up next. What's up, Michael?
Hey, Jake. Well, I'll tell you, I've been going to games from like 96 up to when the new stadium was built. I was at the Packer Jet game when Pennington beat Favre to get into the playoffs. I was at the Indy game, 41-0 playoffs, when nobody sat down for the whole game. Okay, best atmosphere I ever seen. But this is just, I've had it. I've had it. I've left games at the stadium. I've kicked things on my way back to C1 where we tailgate, and we all had therapy sessions. Why did they do this? You are the person that allows us to like just vent and sit. Your show does it for everyone. I gotta tell you that, Jake, because I was
Thank you,
ready to jump
Michael.
off. I was ready to jump off a bridge. Your anger. I called ESPN yesterday before your post show. I heard King Lowski screaming. I couldn't call because I couldn't beat that. Okay. I mean, I wanted to call and I was too tired last night. I just don't understand what's happening. This is the lowest I've ever been in my life. After 47 years of rooting for this team, we're stuck in the middle right now, Jake. I mean, we have players. We can't total rebuild because we can't get rid of everybody. We have the players. It's like, where do we go? Where do we go?
Well, I mean, I'm careful when I say this. I think it can only go up because this has been the worst season ever. Like by accident, there'll be like something better next year.
Jake,
like it's tough.
Jake, I've never had more hopes in 47 years than this season with Aaron.
And you were justified for having those hopes too. Like I love all these people being like, "Oh, you actually thought the Jets were going to be good?" Yeah, you know what I did? I actually did because I saw them win 7 games last year without a quarterback. And even if the defense wasn't the exact same, I still figured they'd be top 10. I didn't think Greg Zuerlein would cost this team at least 3 football games after he couldn't miss last year. Had the best single season a Jet kicker has ever had. Like, yeah, I actually did think this team would be pretty good. I didn't pick them to win the Super Bowl. I wasn't talking about that, but you know what? 7 teams make the playoffs in the NFL. I thought the Jets, who had the longest playoff drought in North American history right now of active teams, I thought they could have at least done that. So yeah, I did think this team would be pretty good. And every Jet fan who had hope, you had every right to be hopeful about this season.
But you know what, Jake? Like you said, like these delay of games, how much of this is Rodgers not liking the play, changing it, and can't get that? I mean, that's on him, and we can't have that, okay? And that 2-minute play, that 2-point, you had to call a timeout there, okay? That was the game.
Egregious, yeah. And look, I put that more on Aaron more than anything. Like, figure it out, dude. You're the one going into the Hall of Fame. Like, if you can't get the playoff, and like that's on you. Like, but that was a problem, and it's like he still did his job leading the game-winning drive. And this defense, which is supposed to be the backbone of the team, the whole I guess Michael lost connection. The whole point of having Aaron Rodgers was pairing him with this defense, and they blew it. They let Jacoby Brissett go down the field on you and dog walk you for 12 plays. Sauce Gardner, Mr. All-Pro corner, is getting beat by Booty or Boutte or whatever. Like, it's not like you got beat by Justin Jefferson. It's like, all right, at least you got beat by a great player. Like, it sucks, but you understand it. He got beat by a guy who's not any good. It sucks. And like 1 week it's the defense, 1 week it's the offense, 1 week it's the special teams. And it's just a bad team. Sucks. Snowball, the butt fumble, and now the booty bowl. We're not calling this game yesterday the booty bowl. There's no way. I can't, man. I really can't. I'll stay on a little while longer. We still got a couple calls here. The Hamburger's next. He's got a special guest with him. Hello, Hamburger.
Hey, what's up? Say hello, Gabrielle.
Hi, Gabrielle.
Hi.
I like your blue lollipop.
Thank you.
Blue's my favorite color. I love it. Okay. She's hiding.
Oh, yeah, she's hiding now. Listening to Albrecht's press conference was pretty bad, man. Listening to him explain what accountability is was a joke. And then to go in and talk about the kicker was even better.
I think they really like Greg Zuerlein, and that's the problem. They genuinely like him, but it's like, come on, dude. Like, you can't preach accountability. Like have the transaction that he's gone before the press conference, so he doesn't have to go up there and try and like explain not cutting him. But I still think they're going to end up cutting him. But it's like, why haven't you done it yet? Like, it's just bad. It's just another thing this organization did wrong.
I just don't understand their thinking. No one will ever understand the way the Jets think. But listen, we all thought in the beginning of the year, unless you were somebody like Allen, who's negative about everything because that's just the way he is, and it's easy to be right about the Jets if you're negative. but we all thought that we were going somewhere this year. I said I wouldn't cut my hair until the Jets made the playoffs, and now I'm going to look like Rapunzel by the time we get back to that. So I don't know, man. I just it's tough. It's tough, and it's tough to deal with. Every part of the day, I'm like going through different emotions in my head. You know, it really screwed me up this year, and I'm sure it screwed everybody else up. You know, high hopes to just absolute dysfunction. I don't think they'll win this week. I don't think they'll win Thursday. They ain't even going to give that satisfaction. We're going to get crushed. So, but listen, Jake, like always, great show. You keep us all sane. You keep us all going. I appreciate it. And I'll probably join up on your Discord, even though I don't know what Discord is. But
You'll
sure.
figure it out. We got to get you in there,
I'll
Hamburger.
figure it out when I get in there. But,
I love it.
Yeah, man. Listen, keep it up, Jake. Stay sane. Keep your crap together.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Shout out to the Hamburger and his awesome daughter. All right. Rob with a super chat here. He's an Asmaniac, so he gets a free one every month, and he's been a member for 10 months. Thank you, Rob. We all know we are winning 3 straight, spending 2 weeks feeling amazing, then losing a bunch after the bye to finish 6-11. I don't know. That's giving this team too much credit. I could see them winning Thursday, then losing with 10 days to get ready for Arizona. That, I think, is more Jet-like. But we'll see. I mean, I don't think they're going to win Thursday, but I could see it happening. 25 is Rodgers not a leader. Nobody rallies behind him. I don't think it's that. I just don't think he's the same guy, right? He can't elevate the flaws this team has. He's been about average, maybe slightly below average, right? Like, you know, statistically, I said this earlier. He's on pace for 62% completions, 4,029 yards, 26 touchdowns, 15 picks. I mean, no Jet quarterback besides Namath in a 14-game season has ever thrown for 4,000 yards. Rodgers is, if he plays every game, which, I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen the way this year's going. He's going to break that. He hasn't been great, but he's not awful. He's not the worst quarterback in the league like what happened last year. Like, he's probably, you know, in that 18 to 23 range. Like, he gives you moments. He gives you like 4 to 5 throws a game. You're like, wow. But he used to give you 20 throws a game where it was like, holy crap. Now, that throw he made to Conklin was unreal in the end zone. A couple of those throws to Garrett were great. Like, it's still there. It's just not there as much. And I think it's also because he really is playing through injuries right now. That's why I argued maybe you play Tyrod this week, but they were never going to do it. See if he can get his mobility back by resting and not playing, and then you play him against Houston. But their problems are so much more beyond Rodgers, though. It's just tough. Let's say hello to James B., who's next. Hello, James.
Hey, Jake. How are you?
James.
Oh, can you hear me?
I hear you, James.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. Maybe you already saw this statistic, but I just wanted to say because I thought it was pretty fitting because my dad would always complain about how the Jets can find ways to lose. But of the teams that have scored over 20 points, no turnovers, and let up less than 250 yards, 750 of them won, and one of them lost. And you want to know which one that was? The Jets against the Patriots yesterday or Sunday. Isn't that crazy? 751 scenarios, and we were the only ones to be on the losing side of that. That's incredible. Anyway, it was bizarre when I saw that statistic. And then also, maybe you can appreciate the view. I'm in, that's the bridge to Canada. I'm currently in Michigan for work now, so it's a cool little view of the river here. But anyway, yeah, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Hang in there, James. Enjoy the trip. At least you got a nice view. Pain. All right, maybe our last call here. Ryed is up next. Hello, Ryed.
What's up, Jake? I would ask how it's going, but I know it's not going too well.
I appreciate
it. It's crazy. I remember I started watching you. It's been years at this point, since the start of the Zach Wilson era. And you said one thing that always resonated with me, and that's meaningful games in December. And it's not even November, and it feels like the season is down the drain.
Well, think about it, though. Like, that's what I was saying that when, like, the expectations were low because they were rebuilding with a first-time coach, first-time quarterback, you know, and, like, it's like, you know, play meaningful games in December. Like, The bare minimum for this team is that they're playing meaningful games in December with the talent they have. They played meaningful games in December technically last year, and 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I had a flight to Arizona for the game in a couple weeks. I just canceled that flight. I feel like I'm just gonna take that one from home. I'm done spending money on this team. And it's unbelievable. The last time this team was good was when I was in 3rd grade. I remember, not going to school that Monday after losing to the Steelers. And I've been through elementary school, middle school, high school, college. I've moved to California, wearing my Jets colors, wearing all this pride. And it's always a laughing stock. And it's unbelievable. It's you try to think of all this dysfunctional franchises across major sports. And it's hard to say that the Jets aren't the most dysfunctional right now. And
no, they are. And it's sad because it felt like they had the right people in charge a couple of years ago. Like, we all were very high on Joe Douglas. We were very excited about, like, hey, Saleh showed you something in year 2. Take a step into year 3. And it never happened. He gets the mulligan. And this year it's like, it's been a disaster.
We've made all these moves. I watched hours of your show, and it's crazy. Over the last 5 years, the most exciting times that we've had for this team are probably the Mike White days, and that's just embarrassing to say. But thank you for holding it down throughout this, Jake. It's really, really tough to have hope, but therapy will do in the meantime. So I appreciate it, and keep doing what you do.
Thank you, Ryan. Great call, man. Good to hear from you. It's tough, man. It's like I really don't know what to say to the Jet fans out there, because I don't know what the answer is. Usually I have an opinion or I have like a solution. Like, I don't know. It really just comes down to, can the owner hire the right people? And I don't know who those people are. Like, I really thought Joe Douglas would learn from his mistake of last year. Like, if you were going to kill Joe Douglas for his biggest mistake, to me, it wasn't necessarily drafting Zach Wilson, right? Every GM is taking a risk when they take a quarterback that high. Some work, some don't. It was not getting a legit backup when you did have a playoff team a year ago, -1 position. You did. Even with Saleh's flaws, they could have made the playoffs with better quarterback play. And then this year, he makes the same mistake. It's a different position, but allowing Greg Zuerlein to sink the season again, even with the Jets' flaws this year. You could say, well, Jake, it doesn't matter. They weren't going to win a Super Bowl this year. Okay, fine. Can we make the playoffs? Can we erode the stench of not being a playoff team for 14 years? There's value in that. Not being in the graphic, haven't made the playoffs since 2010 every time they talk about the Jets on a national show. The aura of losing. The Yankees have an aura of winning in their history. The Jets have this aura of losing. Shaking some of that matters. Sucks. Altoona says, bring back Omar. I miss him crying live on the air. You're an OG fan, Altoona. I don't know what's happened to Omar. He used to call the show. He's a big Wilson truther. We would get into it, and then that was it. The funniest thing ever is I used to be called a Zach Wilson truther because I was patient. I always laugh at that. I love how I'm known as like the Zach Wilson hater when I was probably more patient with him than most content creators for any team. Anyway. We got time for one last call here. I lied because when this guy calls in, you stop what you're doing and you get to your screen because you just don't know what's going to happen, what he's going to say. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello to Chiefs fan.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill. Still golden. Thank God Gator made that. I don't know what to say, Jake. But I did, after that game, I was at my friend's place, and I'm like, screw the bong, let's use the bowl. You know what the weed bowl is? Like, you put the weed in the pipe. My friend's like, what are you doing? I'm taking 3 hits for each of those field goals that they missed over the last few weeks. I know they missed more than 3, but I took 3 hits out of the bowl, and I was gone. I was zooted. So I smoked out for y'all.
You rubbing your hands there? I hear it on the mic.
Yeah, it's a tick. It's happened with my OCD. It's one of those things. My friends asked, is that an autism thing? I'm like, I've never been diagnosed with it, so it might be. But like, I feel bad for you guys. Like, seriously, 4 weeks ago, we were talking about winning the division, and now you guys are just not even wanting to go to games and buy season tickets. And at this point, I just hope you guys just get a new owner. I just hope you guys get something better. Oh, Like, what does it like? I know what I don't know if we could do this, but what would it take to get Jake to his ownership of the Jets, man?
You want me to be the owner?
I'm gonna be honest with you. A 90-year-old grandma would probably be a better owner than Woody,
Yeah.
and she could have dementia. Forget she trades a first-round draft pick, and people would still love her. That's his grandma. But I'm like, I felt bad for you guys yesterday. I smoked a lot and ate a lot. I was at my friend's place for the last few days.
What did you
because-
eat?
I have to have leaner meats now since my gallbladder acted up. There's no stones in there, but there was pain. And they did 2 ultrasounds on me. The first one came back positive for gallstones. The second one's like, this doesn't look right. So they gave me the other ultrasound before my surgery. That they were going to give me a surgery that morning, and they gave me an ultrasound. Like, oh, you can go home now. We messed up and misdiagnosed you. I'm like, it was a Friday night too, so no one wanted to be there at the hospital. I stayed at my friend's friend's place from Saturday up until today, and I'm gonna go back there after he gets off work. Like, he owns 2 trailers put together, and he's trying to buy the third one. And by trailers, I mean he bought, those big ass trucks when you're moving houses, and they have the boxes at the end. He built his own house out of that.
Yeah.
City didn't like it, but oh well. But I feel bad for y'all. Like, 4 weeks ago, everything was so good. 3 weeks ago, okay, it's a loss. But now, I'm like, it'd be funny. You beat the Texans. Like, I would love that. And we just stole a player from your rival, and I don't know how you feel about that, but I was hoping we would face off in a championship game so we can have some shit talking between us, Jake.
Yeah. Look, Chiefs fan. Maybe one day.
All I got to say is this before I let you go. Please, for the love of God, if one of y'all hit the lottery, try to buy the Jets, because Woody, this ain't it. And the GM, I don't know. Like, at one point, I watched you guys since last year. I remember Rodgers going down in the first 4 plays. And it's evolved to the point where you need to just get rid of Woody and the GM. Just start all over. And the fact that, like, I thought Rodgers was going to be good, but now I'm just second guessing myself. Because it might be age. It might be age too.
Let me ask you this, Chiefs fan. Are the Jets worse run than Denny's in your experience working at Denny's?
I have to say they're worse at the moment because I was looking forward to you guys. Like, during that Pittsburgh game, I put 100 down on you guys, and I'm like, put another 55 down in different bets, and I'm like, they're going to get this game. They're going to win. They're going to sack Russell. They're going to knock him out of the game. They're going to put Fields in. And then when the Patriots came, I just had to PayPal my family the $100. I was going 50. I was betting against my grandparents over the weekend who are Patriots fans.
You bet against your grandparents?
They got tired of us arguing, so it was like, put up your money. I'm like, okay. They've been lifelong Patriots fans, and they were also lifelong can't think of the guy. Boston U. Boston
If you
College.
rubbed your hands together, would it start a fire if you did it hard enough?
I don't know, man. Like, I wish. Maybe we could just burn Woody off of the freaking universe. But, like, watching this just the way this NFL season's been for everyone, and the way you're, like, the pain that you guys went through, this reminds me of all those years of when I was growing up and collecting football cards. I'm like, okay, this team's gonna be good. ACL this, ACL that. And, like, you guys were hyping this season up to the point where, like, you were about to win, like you were hyping it up to the point like, okay, we're gonna go 17-0, this and this. And I'm like, I feel for you guys. And the main reason why I feel for you guys, I don't like to admit this, but I'm a Chicago Fire and a St. Louis Soccer Club fan at the same time. And all those years of Chicago Fire being bad, it's like remembering what they went through for the Jets. So, like, I used to go to soccer games all the time when I was up north.
Well, Chiefs fan, thank you for calling in, and we wish you the best of luck.
Peace.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Chiefs fan. Dark Knight Steve, let the CEO of Chipotle run Jets football operations. Is that me, Steve, or the actual CEO of Chipotle? I'd run it better than how it's been run. I'll tell you that much. Talking about the Jets. Oh, all right. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Hit the like button on your way out of here. Once again, trying to get to 40,000 subscribers. We're just 95 away. So if you haven't subscribed yet, and you're a Jet fan, before you check out on the year, click the subscribe button. Thank you all for your support. We're back tomorrow. Somehow, some way, we'll continue doing 2 shows a day every day during the week. The schedule's a little different this week, guest-wise. That's why we had O'Leary today. Parkinson will join us Wednesday morning. Tomorrow, we'll have Sabo in his normal time. Probably Fialco in the afternoon. I got to get with him. And then we'll work through it. But if you missed the Beningo spot today, check it out on the channel. Joe joins us every Monday or every day after a Jet game at 10 a.m. So Friday, Joe will be joining us again. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Truly appreciate that. Can't say it enough. Let's go Yankees tonight. Let's try and get the series to 2-1 and then do some damage at home here. Aaron Judge, please wake up. I digress. Have a good night, everybody. Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets.
I hate this team. I hate them. I hate them.
The Jets are going to come back. No, they're not. They're never going to come back. They're never going to come back.